Welcome back to the Summer Rain channel. Today we're going to learn how to make a floating candle. The floating candle that we're going to make is a Barrier Reef fragrance oil, but you can use any one that you want to use. I'm using a cobalt blue, but feel free again to use any color you'd like. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below. I also post a link to my blog if you want to go check it out. And here is what our floating candle looks like before you light it, and here is what the floating candle looks like in action. So without further ado, let's go ahead and learn how to make floating candles. For this mold, you need 0.7 of an ounce of soy wax and then your shavings from your color block. Go ahead and grab your fragrance oil. I'm using a Barrier Reef fragrance oil. Grab your floating candle mold. It's actually the candle mold or the shape of the candle that allows it to float. So you'll notice with floating molds, they're not very thick. The reason for this is you don't want your candle to be top heavy and to tip over. And they also have a relatively flat bottom. So what you want is you want a candle that's going to displace the water so it will float. So you'll need a floating candle mold and you will need a wick for your candle. Go ahead, grab your pouring pot or a container that is heat safe. And we're going to add our soy wax. And then at the same time, go ahead and add your shavings from your color block. And pop this on a double boiler until it's completely melted. Just went ahead, pulled this off the double boiler. As you can see, there's not much wax in there, but our floating candle mold isn't very big, so we don't need very much. I'm just going to go ahead and check the temperature. I don't want to add my fragrance oil at too hot of a temperature. I like to be at or below 175 degrees. And I'm at 162, so we'll go ahead and add our fragrance oil. And we'll give that a good mix. So we don't want to pour this too hot, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to check the temperature again. I want to be between like 120, 130. And I'm right at 120, so I'm fine to go ahead and start pouring my candle. Sorry, you can't really see. So the candle's poured. Sorry, it was kind of hard to see when I was pouring it because of the big old pouring pot. But we just poured the candle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our wick. You don't want to put any adhesive, anything sticky or any super glue to stick it to the bottom like you would for a container candle, because you are going to have to remove this from the mold. So we just take the wick and we're just going to set it in there. Set it down and then allow this to cool completely. So our candle has completely cooled. We're going to go ahead and unmold it. If you have any issues unmolding, feel free to throw it in the freezer for like 2 or 3 minutes. Wax shrinks when it cools, so to help you with releasing it, just go ahead, give it a pull, and remove it from the mold. And now we're going to want to trim this super wick to 1/4 inch. So you just cut that off. And there is your floating candle. I hope you enjoyed the video.